What's going on, people? I can't even say that this is the beginning of the conversation because you guys are just jumping in the middle of something that's already blossomed, right? I'm getting to know this brother, and I already feel so many connections. We've connected so many different lines. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself, and then I'm gonna let you guys in on the conversation that we've been having. What's going on, Shy, man?
Hey,
How you doing?
man, not much. Rashad Howell from North Carolina. I say wide awake.
Come on, baby.
To be exact.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not making no noise, man. From North Carolina, man. That's where I was born and raised. That's where I actually live. I actually work in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So that's where my office is. But I live in North Carolina.
Smooth. So what are you doing in North Carolina? And what do you do overall? What job are you in? What career you in right now?
What do I do overall, man? Listen, I tell people that the easiest way to kind of capture what I do is I just make people smile.
Okay.
Literally, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Come
so
on
I just
now.
keep smiling.
No, that's what's up.
I work in operational planning for Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay.
So what I do is anything from like your Jordan launches. People love to hear that. When I say Jordan launches, like, hey, man,
Yeah, that's it. As soon as you start with that, they're good to go.
They're good. You start a conversation. You know, you talk about shoes. That's how you started off. I do anything from that to like training. I train on like footwear, the right shoes to put our athletes in.
Okay.
Train like selling and service, how you service the athlete. Yeah. And that's what we call our customers. So we call them athletes.
Okay.
I'm a musician.
I'm
a musician.
How long you been a musician for?
As long as I can remember.
Really?
As long as I can remember.
So what do you, when people say that, I mean, they play a little bit of everything. It's never just one instrument. Talk to me. Well, at least that's what I've heard. I don't play anything. Every once in a while, got a chance to go up in the church, the old folks church, to let you play a couple songs or whatever. You get up out of there. What do you play?
Man, I dibble and dabble.
Okay.
A little bit of everything. Main instrument is drums. So I play percussion, play drums, play a little bit of keys, man. Every once in a while I might pull the bass out. I might touch a note or two. Only two. Only two. That's it. That's it. You said you did three. Only two.
See. I told you I don't know music, bro.
No, it's all good. So I dibble and dabble with quite a few instruments. I tinkle a little bit.
And your voice, man. I'm telling you, you got a nice voice, bro. And I told you before, it's like a preacher's voice. You do any singing or any radio broadcasting or anything like that? Where does the voice come from?
Well, I don't do any broadcasting. But no, man, it's just a voice, man. Be honest with you, this is what I've done for as long as I can remember. Okay. When I was young, I wanted to be an actor. So I started out practicing young. Okay. All right, just imitating people. I wouldn't say I'm the best at impersonations, but
you try.
I try a little bit, man. But I do a lot of, I host a lot of shows. I do a lot of stuff I do a lot of stuff with my job too as well. So
smooth. Yeah, I thought about doing some acting. Sports kind of just took over everything, man. Right. And you did some sports in high school and stuff, right? You said you were talking about track, or what else did you do?
No track, man.
Not track, it was basketball. Basketball.
Yeah. Okay. Fried out and laid to the side, man. I didn't do nothing with no track. Only what they required me to do.
Yeah, but I say you got track frame too, though, man. Like I did track for a good little minute. Okay. I'm telling you, you look like you pretty much do anything. You could do anything. You could play football if you wanted to. You probably do basketball. But that's basketball, right?
Well, I played a few of the sports. So I played football too, man. And you talking about my frame, man. I'm just, I'm hiding my handles well.
Oh, okay.
The frame ain't as good as it used to be.
No, for sure.
I did a little bit of football, baseball, touched it here and there. Basketball was my main sport, and I did some bowling in college too as well. So
really, that's very different. How did you like that?
It was pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. I wasn't that good. I was decent enough to be better than my friends.
There we go.
But not good enough to be in the league.
You sound real humble, though. But yeah, not good enough. Okay, not good enough to be in the league. I just not even understanding the real rules or even how to read scorecard. I used to just be out there just rolling that thing.
Just rolling.
Just chucking it.
Letting it fly.
Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, I throw hard enough, might get a strike.
There you go.
Get the little X up there, whatever. But my baby, well, he's not even my baby no more, man. I got so many kids. I got 4 kids, man. I got a 5-year-old, one that just turned 3, and I got a set of twin boys. All of them are boys. The twin boys are 1 year old. But my 3-year-old, man, that's his thing, bro. Like going to the bowling alley, that is his thing. He cries every time we leave. So and you're a father as well, right?
Yeah, man. So I'm a girl dad. All right? Just a little opposite from
so many girl dads on here, man.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. I'm a girl dad, and I'll tell you this much. I've cried more in my life.
Wow.
Since 9 years ago than I've ever done before.
So the oldest is 9 then?
Yes, oldest is 9. So I have 9 and 8.
So you said you've been in that position too, huh? Every time you get the girl dads just get emotional, huh?
Yes. Too emotional.
Man, I get emotional, but that might just be me.
But they listen because they bring so much insight to you, man. They teach me so many things. So you have to be, you have to pay attention to detail when they're speaking, right? So they'll say things that you may miss, right? And they're giving you so much insight on life. Man, I have so many stories. I got a main story that I want to tell you. Let me tell you this story. We were at a family reunion. Now, I got to act this out because this is the only way Shad know how to do it.
Give it all to me, dog.
So we're at a family reunion, and we were out there playing volleyball. Bow! I'm spiking on everybody. All right.
Okay.
So,
Look, I'm about to say, I know you. I told you play a little bit of everything.
It's getting good.
Okay.
So they said, well, let's go play kickball. All right. So where's the fence? Oh, there it is. All right. Kicking it over the fence.
Give me that.
Now, listen, I'm playing against my grandparents and great uncles. So, I mean, I look good. Look good. But that didn't matter. I just look good. So we get in the car, both of my daughters. So my youngest daughter, she's like the little mini-me. So she's just like the character, the one that's funny, the one that's energetic. And my oldest, she's really quiet, but she pays close attention to detail. So they're both like me in some type of way.
Yeah.
So we get in the car, and we sit down, and we're about to get ready to leave the family reunion. My youngest daughter says, Daddy, can I ask you a question? I said, and I see my oldest daughter. She's looking at me, shaking her head like, Daddy, I know she coming for you.
I'm like, I already know.
Ask the question. She said, Daddy, are you good at everything? So I said, I wouldn't say that I'm good at everything, but I try my best to be. So she got quiet. I'm like, yeah, a win for the daddy. So then a little Roblox game, it went off. And then I feel like I got big eyes. Y'all can see that on the screen. Right? So her eyes are even bigger because her head is smaller. Right.
So they got big, beautiful eyes, man. All those big, beautiful eyes. Chocolate babies, man. Yeah, for sure.
I feel a stand at the back of my neck, man. I'm like, listen, I got to turn around and see what's coming up next. So I turn around and I look her eye to eye. She says to me at this time, she was 5 years young. She said to me, she says, Daddy, that's okay. You don't have to be good at everything because you're the best at being you.
Oh, come on, bro.
Bruh,
come on.
Smack me, changed my whole life and perspective on life. Now, every single place that I go, I tell that story, even when I'm doing my trainings at work, and I always end off the session because I'm this wild, energetic guy.
Yeah.
And I always end off my trainings with that story to let them know that as long as you're your best authentic self, that's what makes sense. That's when the message makes sense. You can't try to go out there and be me because there's one thing in this room that I can't be better than you in, and that's being you.
Absolutely. And man, that touched me. I'm still trying to take that in. That really did touch me because being in a place where, you know, you're going through high school, middle school, and during those times you probably feel the most yourself, right? Because you're not thinking about a whole lot of pressures. You might have a couple peer pressures here and there, but you don't have any dependents. You don't got anybody depending on you. You don't got to worry about a job, bills, and none of that stuff, right? Once you get into college, you start moving into the real world. Now these different pressures start hitting you. You start doing different things that may not be in your normal character, or you still kind of maybe figure yourself out. For me, myself, I got into college, joined right in the Navy, then I got married. Before you know it, I had kids. And during that time, I'm doing everything for everybody else. I kind of forgot who I was. I was trying to be good and great at everything I was touching too, right? I was trying to be a great husband, trying to be a great father, trying to be a great person or officer at my job. And I forgot to be a great self, right? I forgot to be a good me. And in the midst of losing all that, I started just trying to figure out, like, who is this person? And that's one of the things and the reasons why I started this podcast again. So for you to be able to get that from one of your daughters and just hear how authentic that was and to know that, man, that had to be extremely touching.
Oh, man. Who are you telling? So you think you always, well, I won't say you always. I can only speak for myself. But sometimes I question, Rashad, are you doing the right thing? And then that's just a nice little reminder. Daddy, I see what you're doing, and you're doing really well. Even when you don't think that the things that you're doing are as good as they should be.
Absolutely.
They remind you that you can't compare yourself to anybody else. You can only worry about the things that you can control. And what you can control is everything that you do. So it speaks a lot.
How have you moved differently knowing that your kids see everything? Because they pick up on everything and they watch everything. How have you moved?
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you, man, Hot Like Fire, the people desire you. MC Hammer going to make you retire.
Yes, sir.
So I have to chill every once in a while.
Yeah, okay.
All right, because I'm crazy because I remember a time where that youngest one, she's interesting. The oldest one, she just really dialed in, right? She's just like, I'm not the one who's going to ask the questions and get in trouble, but I'm going to give you the plan.
Come on.
All right?
Come on.
So they got a nice little, partnership
exactly
here.
There we go.
But the youngest, I remember years ago, the teacher calling us and saying, well, Nadi's having a little trouble in class because she's making everybody laugh. So I'm like, listen, G, you got to chill just a little bit. She said, Daddy, but you funny at work. Ooh. Why can't I be funny? All right. You smacked me right there, baby. All right. But understand, I'm still the father. So I'm trying to tell you what's good for you.
Yes.
But so I have to pay attention and be strategic about my delivery when they're around me, right? So they're typically with me. So they're not with me all the time. They're always with me on weekends because of the way I work. But when they are with me, it's just like and they just grow so fast.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
And they learn and they pick up, and then they're like texting me like, Daddy, I'm like, how are you even texting? When did this
Yeah, I'm
happen?
about to say, man, that it happens so fast. Even the words they start picking up on. I
Yes.
feel like every single week we're having another conversation about something else or things he wants to do, things he wants to get into. We just got into a whole conversation about content creation and just like cinema and videography and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't even know if I was really thinking about this stuff when I was at your age. And maybe I was. Maybe it just wasn't tapped into, or maybe I didn't move in that direction. But right now I'm trying to figure out different ways that I can move him into those directions. For me, first thing was sports, because during our age, man, we did everything outside. So everything we talked about was basketball, football, man, hopping on the bike, rolling down to the convenience store, maybe racing barefooted out to the stop sign, stuff like that. And we still had these other ideas of things we wanted to do, but I'm trying to tap in to that for him. But I know your job is just as demanding as mine is. I can only imagine you moving around the country. Tell me about the work-life balance that you're trying to utilize or implement into your lifestyle while being a father.
That's pretty cool, man. So I've been blessed, and I was sharing with Sony too as well. So both of my daughters were just in a back-to-school commercial.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
So I think about it, and that's something that really excites me, because I'm like, these are the things that I always wanted to do. You know, I always wanted to be in the acting world. No, I'm not Denzel Washington. I get that much. I look like him, but I'm not him. right. So I'm like, how can I like do something for my children? Something that I would like to do. Of course, I want them to take their own route, train the child in the way they should go, and they won't stray away from it. But with my daughters, the opportunity, man, it was crazy. Because my first time ever getting on a airplane was when I was 30 years old.
Wow.
Now, imagine this. With my work now, what I do is I literally fly about between 120, 140 times a year.
Wow, that's a lot, dog. That's moving.
Yeah, my miles is Campbell soup, I'm good,
There
right?
we
So
go.
I'm in good shape when it's vacation time.
Yeah.
But so I travel so much, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I didn't have the opportunity to go to a corporate office when I was younger, but I want to do that for my children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Rashad, what can you do? Right? What can you do? And it just, the opportunity came where I was like, we're going to do a back to school video. And because I was the content creator for it, I created all the content. I'm like, I want my children to be in it.
That's beautiful. That's
so
smart,
now
man.
they're young, and they've gotten on a plane at 7 and 8 years old, and we're going across the states, and I'm just like, I'm on the airplane. I'm just like, they're like, Daddy, you okay? And then they're like, he ain't okay. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, man, you tearing up just thinking about like the exposure.
Yes.
Right, because exposure is everything. What are some things maybe that you got exposed to that has basically created the Rashad you are now, where you are? And then how are you trying to get your kids exposed into maybe more things than just what you're doing right now?
No, I love that. So one thing for me, so I grew up in the country, right? I wasn't a big city guy, right? So I grew up in the country, and I learned even to my slang, the way I speak, like the little,
But it's familiar to me, man. I feel good having this conversation, because when I talk like this, some people be like, wait, what you talking about? What you sound like you eat squirrels or something like that, or eat deer or something. Yeah, chitlin. You sound like a chitlins boy. Like, that's what they have.
Yeah, just tell them to pick up what I'm trying to put down.
Yeah, come on now.
The shape all state. So I got a couple of you'll hear those ever so often, man. And I was growing up, and I was like, so I had dreams, but at a young age, I didn't understand that a goal without a deadline is only a dream, right? So with me trying to achieve these goals, I never really set deadlines, right? And as I grew older, I'm like, maybe I didn't have the opportunity to do it then, but now I can teach them now. Like I said, being in the country, we are exposed to a lot. We rode bikes, we played basketball, we played football. So we were around it. We're like AP all purpose.
Absolutely.
We did everything.
Everything.
All right.
Worked on something, worked a lot, was outside, inside. Yeah, y'all do everything.
It's funny, man. People, they say, what do you not do? I said, well, listen, I wish I could tell you that.
Yeah,
all right? We're going to try it. All right. We're going to try it. Because I'll tell you one thing, the great uncle's in the back.
Come on.
If you can't fix nothing,
come on, bro.
They're going to holler at you.
Get out the way, bro.
Yeah, they're going to holler at you.
You might as well get out the way.
Come here, young. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. All right. Go have a seat. Go have a seat. All right. But it was good, man. Just growing up, I think what really developed me was, so I grew up in a single parent home, right? Still, relationship with my dad, no issues with that. Relationship with my dad, single parent home. And so I felt like it was me, my sister, and my mom. So I say girl dad, and I've been around girls all my life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for me, my perspective when I was a young boy was I have to be the man of the house, right?
Yeah.
Man of the house. even to the point, there was a little short story. I remember my mom was like, I just wish I could get my name off of this house. I remember she was going through all this stuff. Mama ain't trying to tell y'all your business.
Yeah. I got you.
She was like, I'm trying to get
hold on now.
And I'm like, and I was at a young age. So like so we stayed in the country. We stay in double wides and trailers.
Oh, yeah.
They sweet too.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to say they got room, dog.
Oh, they sweet.
I'm about to say, because you said that Pittsburgh area, right? Yeah.
So I'm in Wilson.
That's a little bit further out because we were in Golston, Sanford, and a little bit of Lee County area. So I know what you're talking about. My grandpa had I think it looked like they might have just put 2 trailers together. He had a big old L, but it was a lot of space, man. 12 acres of land, too. It was a good fun.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have some land out there. You're going to be able to play hide and go seek in case nobody going to find you.
For real.
My mom was like, I want to get my name off this house. I'm like, okay. So I'm just thinking, listen, I can support my mother. I'm the man of the house right now. So I go outside, man, and I'm like, I got a hammer trying to get the name off the double wide. It said like Kenwood or something. So I'm trying to shave it off. I can't read it this time. I'm like, let me get this off of my mom. And I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, I couldn't get your name off the house. That ain't what she was talking about.
No, not at all. Not at all.
but when you stop learning, you stop growing. So I continue to grow.
Say, absolutely.
So that was good. And just for me, just going through all those experiences, and I'm going to just be honest with you, man, I've just been blessed throughout the years, man. I think that all the people that I run into them for a purpose,
absolutely.
Right? We always talk about, I know even with work, we talk about purpose over task, but we never teach purpose. We always teach the task.
Absolutely.
And me even going in and meeting Sonia, I was like, everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
All right. And you just have to be attentive to what's going on so you can make the right decisions. So I just think for me, just growing up in that country, getting that country style of life where I was exposed to a lot of things, right? And I think going into the city, it was like, okay, a country boy going into the city.
Which, a movie right here.
Which Greensboro, I wouldn't say Greensboro is big. I say the city, and they're like, bruh, this is not the city.
But I know exactly what you mean. But
that transition is the city for me.
Yeah, I got you.
And going from everybody wants to eat clean, and you used to eating ham hock and all that good stuff, neck bones, pig feet,
in everything,
collard greens.
I used to eat pickled pig feet, dog.
Oh, you best believe it.
Fried. We used to eat fried chitlins. Some people never even heard of that before. They just eat the chitlins, fried chitlins.
You talking good? Did you dabble some hot sauce over there, Texas?
I can't eat it without it, man. I can't eat it without it. Every meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, gonna come with at least 2 or 3 meats. If you ain't got at least 2 meats, you ain't really cooking nothing.
Yeah, you ain't cooking. You ain't cooking.
But that's exactly how it was.
Man, and that's good, man. So now I can go through like my life and then just, really focus on, and some people say this was hard for me. Focus is follow one course until successful.
Ooh.
And for me, that was hard because I was exposed to everything. I'm like, so which course do I follow? And now I can give some guidance to my daughters. Like, this is the things that we focus one step at a time instead of trying to gather it all in one basket, So, I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, life continues to go on. It ain't ended.
And it don't slow down either. That's the one thing. It does not slow down. Sometimes you might find yourself in a place where you can at least know where everything is. You feel some type of control. But I found myself, whenever I feel like I'm in too much control of everything, I'm not moving nowhere. Yeah. It's like I'm not taking no risks. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to reduce all the stress in different areas. And now I'm like, I feel like it's slowing down. Maybe I got some stability, but I'm like, I'm not here. And I'm not where I'm trying to be in my workplace. I'm not here with my wife where I really want to be. So, I mean, I definitely understand it and I get that. And exposure, I'm glad you had exposure to everything. You know what I'm saying? And being able to start going in a path that you feel was best for you. What I'm struggling with my sons is like, in exposing them to everything, when do I maybe slow it down or really start to put, maybe not my foot down, but really try to focus in one area and kick them and push them like, hey, you are really good at this. I see you like this a lot. It might not be all the way easy for you. You know what I'm saying? But I need to start pushing you in that area. Have you found yourself getting into that mode yet? Like, what age do you think that is?
So mine are still a little younger, man. And I just think this, and this is my perspective, is just every single day presents a new opportunity for you to do something the same or do something totally different. Yeah. So I try to teach my daughters, man, like when they're going out, be the best. Be the best at everything that you do. Absolutely. Give it all you have. And if it doesn't work out for you, it's not the end. All right. You can do something totally different tomorrow. Right. And then do something exactly the same that worked for you, or do something totally different that didn't work for you.
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't think I've gotten to the age where it's like they're dialed in and they're playing, like, maybe let's just say they're playing a sport and they're really good at it. And they're like, Daddy, I want to change. I'm like, oh, whoa, you're good at what you're doing. Stay right there.
Absolutely.
Mine are right now, they're into like dance and stuff like that. Okay. So they like dance, and I'm just letting them find their little ways. And as they ask questions, one thing I do believe, I can only say I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, come on.
I think I give them the confidence to come and approach me and tell me things, right? But every once somebody in the room, they talking, they whispering like, you go ask them, you go ask them, you go ask them.
And you hear it every time.
I'm like, hey, how about both of y'all come ask me? Because I heard you, right? So just trying to figure it out. I mean, I think at this moment, I don't know, but I do always ask parents that have daughters that are like teenagers, like, so what is it like?
Yeah.
What do I have to look forward to?
And I think it might be easier for us. You always hear about the for it'll be daddy's little girl all the way until they get out and get married and always get that. So it might be a little bit easier for fathers, but I would definitely be asking that conversation too. What things are you doing to kind of make sure you're keeping them in the realm of relationship and being able to communicate? Because I know you're talking about you want them to be able to talk to you. What things do you think you're
basically, man, it just starts with, it's very simple. You just have to show up. You just got to be there. That's where it starts. Because a lot of times, and I mentioned this, my daughters, they love me before, like they have no reason.
Yeah.
Right? I did nothing so spectacular that they should love me the way that they do, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
It's just a part of them and me just being there and being present. And when they look up and they say that, my youngest called me Rashad for the longest, because that's what a mama called me.
Oh,
I had no reason. She's always like, Rashad. And everybody's like, oh, she's calling me Rashad. I'm like, that's okay. She knows who daddy is, because when she start crying, she's going to say, daddy.
Absolutely.
So I think, I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's a good question.
And the reason why I asked is because I'm trying to do a better job at communicating. Like my father, he was a very big lead by example guy. And maybe it's a mix of a generational thing. And I'm West African as well. My dad's from Liberia. He came here when he was very young. He might have only been 18, 19 years old. He came to play pro soccer over here. At some point met my wife. They got jiggy with it, did whatever they had to do, right? And I popped out a little old me. But within that generation, I believe their parents never talked to them about anything. It was do as I say, not as I do. And then you move on to the next generation, and she's kind of trying to do the same thing. My dad's doing the same thing. I have to follow in his footsteps the best way I can. But if I were to ask why, I would never get the answer. And now I find myself in a position where me and my wife are just having those conversations with our son, and he may ask why. And naturally, my first answer or the first thing I want to do is not maybe give you the answer, but just do it because I said so. But I'm trying to do a better job at explaining why, because later he can at least implement it for himself. It might take me a little less time teaching him what I'm trying to teach him if I just tell him the reason why I'm doing it, no matter if it's safety, no matter if it's maybe relationships that he has. He's only 5 years old, so he's asking why about a lot of stuff, and a why will come after another why and after another why. But sometimes it's always not easy to communicate with him, either because he just doesn't have maybe the overall concept of something, or maybe I really don't know how I want to move him into that position, right? So, like, one of the things for me, I know that's not the same for everybody. When growing up, I couldn't watch Harry Potter, man. Like, it was, I was like, you ain't bringing no witchcraft in this house and all this other stuff. And for me and my wife, I'm like, man, I watch Harry Potter now. There's nothing really wrong with it. So, like, why don't we let him watch it? And then we start having a conversation, like, what if he asks, is magic real? I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell you, magic not real, and, ghosts not real and all that stuff. She was like, well, what about the Holy Ghost and the spirit world and the Holy Spirit and all that? Like, how are we going to have those conversations? Going to ask us about Jesus? I'm like, now I'm rolling down a path I don't know if I'm ready to explain to him, right? So I slowed down a little bit. I was like, I want to give him as much as I can right now, but still find myself in a place where he still understands it. It's been a struggle, man. It really has.
The beautiful thing about what you're saying is you're talking about communication. And the starting point to all achievement is only desire. You just have the desire to do it, and that's what you desire to do. So it's always going to work out for the good.
That is true. Thank you. I needed to hear that. I really
it's always going to work out, man.
For real.
Listen, man, we go back and look at situations. I know I go back, sometimes I look and I say, man, was it really that bad? It felt like it, but when it seemed like, we were talking about planes a little earlier, so I'll say this one. When it seems like everything is against you, always remember that the airplane takes off against the wind and not with it, but it seems to make it to the top every single time.
Every single time.
Trouble don't last always, man. We get through these situations and we learn and we continue to grow and we figure things out as we go. Like, they've done it. If our parents got through it, I can promise you this much. With all this technology, all these lights and stuff, I'm pretty sure we can figure something out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, because you're talking about figuring it out, how prepared did you feel when you were first having your first kid?
Oh man, listen, I was like, man, how can I put this? I'll just put it simple. Not at all. I wasn't prepared at all. I was going to try to give you something good.
No, I got
listen,
you.
I'm telling you, I was not prepared.
And it's hard to find guys who are, man. And it's just one of those things that it's hard to prepare for. And people tell me all the time, like, hey man, I'm trying to get this ready and this ready before I have a kid, like, financially. And I'm like, no matter what you do, you're still gonna find yourself in a position where you've never been before. You can ask the questions, but it's better to at least lean on your own confidence and to kind of build a village around people. But I wanted to hear maybe some of the challenges you might have had just in the beginning of fatherhood that you just kind of had to learn, and maybe either people that you may have to lean on during that season.
Man, that's good. So for me, man, just with my kids being born, I'll say this much. I felt like I wasn't prepared, but they felt like I was prepared.
Every time.
So my perspective was different from their perspective. I thought that they needed things that they didn't necessarily need. And the whole time they were saying, Daddy, all I need is you. And that's pretty simple, man. And I think about it even now. I'm like, okay, well, you got to have this. You got to have this because I didn't have this. I want you to have this. And then at times they're just thinking in their head like, Daddy, I don't want that. Especially my oldest. My oldest, she'll tell me straight up
how it is.
She tell me like a TI is. She's like, Daddy, no. I'm like, what you mean no?
I got you.
And this is the thing. So it's a different generation. So my kids, they say yes, they say no to me. It's no issues. When they get around T-Mom, the grandma, they're like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. I'm like, I said, y'all playing with me right now. All right.
They want to be chill with us, right?
Yeah, I ain't got none of that at the crib. And y'all want to get out here with T-Mom. Yes, ma'am, T-Mom. Okay, I get it. But with the kids, man, I think some of the challenges I had with growing up with the girls was, I'm like, I don't want to miss the mark. Because I know there is a future, and I know there will be a gentleman that comes through that's going to be interested in my beautiful babies. Yeah. They say, be the one that you want your daughters to be with.
Yep.
Now I can say, have I been the one that I wanted my daughters to be with? I'm going to say no. All right, I'm going to tell you, let's be transparent.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. All right. So when he come around, he think he's smoother than a baby's bottom. I'm going to go ahead and let him know. Been there, done that.
I know the game, dog.
I got that.
I already know, dog.
Come on, man. I already know it. Been there, done that, tried it, all that good stuff. So then it's all about, for me, authenticity. I really try to be transparent with the girls. Okay. Try to watch the things that I do and I say around them. Some of the challenges I've had, I've always had help. Whether it's mom, whether it's my parents. Even when it's like, I've had coworkers that say, oh, this is something that I went through and this is how you can overcome it. I think even, to be honest with you, social media, man, you can literally pop up, man. You pull up your phone, go to Google. Matter of fact, just say Siri. Siri, give me the answer.
Yeah, I call him Cyrus. Hey, Cyrus. He don't answer back to Cyrus, but I'm like, hey, Cyrus. But yeah, no, I'm with you.
Put you in the game, man. We have so much opportunity now, right? With all the technology and all the social media. So I wouldn't say that all social media is bad. Like even what you're doing with your podcast.
Absolutely.
This is beautiful because people can come and see this and they'll be like, okay, this is what makes sense. This is what I'm interested in listening to, right? And what they're consuming is who they'll become.
Absolutely.
That's why the people that's on this podcast are like, I'm a dad. I want to be a great dad.
Absolutely.
I want to hear how I can be a great dad. So they consume this information. So social media is good too as well. So it helps out, man. I follow people like Eric Thomas. That's my guy.
Oh, yeah.
Baby.
No, I've been following him for a long time.
Man,
He's such a good dude, bro. Oh, my gosh.
Man. Oh, man. The way he just, his terminology and how he puts it is so sweet to me, man. Sweeter than the honey on a honeycomb. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because sometimes when he says stuff, it's so simple. It's not all drawn out.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people like try to, correlate a sentence. Well, try to put a sentence together and it doesn't make sense. They might say, well, the hypothesis of such. I'm like, hold on. First of all, the word don't go there.
No, they're just trying to get the big words in there, man. And
why don't you just tell it like a TI is? And sometimes he just really just lays it out there. And then it just gives me, so for me watching him and, hip hop preacher, he got on the hat and all that good stuff. I'm like, bro, I can literally be shod and get this message across.
Absolutely.
And that's what feels good. So just learning social media, man, even talk, like we've only been talking for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm everything that you giving, right? What I say earlier, man, if you put it down, I'm picking it up.
Every
right?
time.
So it's always good, man, to network with people, like even walking to the building, seeing you, I'm like, all right, I'll tell you, that's a good vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good vibe. We're going to be in good shape.
And that's what you want to feel, man. I'm telling you, that's what you want to feel. And it is good being in an age of information and being able to just go ahead and you got one question. or you want to kind of be in the space. Because before then, I would only think like maybe it would take some networking in order to find the people that may talk like this or walk like this, right? You can just get on Instagram, maybe follow Eric Thomas, maybe get on YouTube. Maybe you want to start doing some professional speaking, or you want to be a better father, right? And one of the two things that people, I think, maybe there's two things, honestly, that I think people fear the most is the fear of unknowing. Like they don't know what they're going to be stepping into. You got to just talk to somebody, you just got to talk to somebody who's either been there before or somebody who's about to go there and preparing along with you. So you guys can walk lockstep until you get there. Maybe not get the answers from them because they ain't never been there before, but walk lockstep with them. And the other thing is just, I think, feeling alone. I've spoken to a lot of fathers, and one of the things that they fear the most, or at least have been in right now, like the challenge they're in right now, just feeling alone, feeling like they're dealing with this alone. And I think the reason why they're having that is either they're too afraid to talk about their emotions, or they're in a place they never even talked to their own father about it, or maybe they're comparing their walk in fatherhood with motherhood. A lot of times, as soon as we step into the space, everything is about supporting the mother, and it's not taking anything away from the mother. I think their walk in motherhood is completely different from ours, but it makes it so hard when you can't have a conversation about the things that you're going through as a father, when everything is about supporting her. As soon as you say, hey, I'm not sleeping too, or hey, I'm extremely anxious every time I'm holding a baby, or hey, I don't know what I'm doing, they're like, hey, you need to figure it out because we need to go protect mom. We need to go make sure she's doing good. She's got postpartum depression, and everybody dad just walking on by itself with all these different anxieties or pressures on itself, and he doesn't know what to do with it. What things you think that we can do, maybe other than this podcast, that could kind of help fathers maybe step out of feeling like they can't ask for help and kind of get out of that funk?
That's a good one, man. I got one for you. I'm going to put this smooth for you. You have to be consistent with coaching opportunities, but more importantly, persistent with recognizing people. All right. So when they do have, like us as fathers, when we do have those opportunities, we have to hold each other accountable, right? That's the first step. But in holding each other accountable, we still got to recognize each other for the things that we do well. Because a lot of times men, what they're afraid to do is recognize each other. I know we dap each other up and everything, but everybody wants to be the best. They want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. Right. And I think that's, and I like to say this, the women might appreciate this, but a lot of women, they just recognize, even if they fake and they get out of the car later, they say, but they're not shy to tell, girl, you look good.
Yes.
Right. So for me, I walk past people like when I see your shoulder, I say, I want them shoulders.
Yeah, you did.
So, right. So and I think that's for us as men, we need that from each other to help each other out. Like, man, you're doing an excellent job. Even like when I was at work, I remember there was a gentleman, he was terrible at work. And I was like, man, he is bad. Right. And then I met him at the time clock. I'm like, listen, man, this is for you, a little gift, because every time you're supposed to be at work, you show up to work and you show up on time. He's like, sure, no, you kidding, man. No, why you doing this, man? I'm doing something behind. I'm like,
what's
listen,
the ulterior motive, right?
You came to work. Some people do what they call out, and they don't show up, but you decided to show up. A few weeks later, he comes to me. He's like, can you check out your email? I want you to see something. So I'm checking out his email, and it's like, this one was doing such and such. This one was doing all of this. This one was doing all of that. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So that can't be talking about you, because you bought the sorriest thing since sliced bread. Right?
Yeah.
But they were actually talking about him. Wow. And he reminded me from that day on, he'll probably call me sometime today, or he ain't got to, but he's probably going to hit me up. But he reminds me, and he has a higher position with a different company, but he reminds me, I remember the time when you recognized me for something so small, and I wanted that recognition again.
Oh,
and that's what we have to do for each other.
Wow. And I think, I don't know if it's a social, cultural thing where we feel like we just can't do that. And as soon as you said it, the first thing I thought about is watch my wife like post just a picture of her maybe going out in town or whatever, want to dress. I promise you it's going to be at least 10 or 15 of her girls. No matter if she's seen them yesterday, they might even be her closest girlfriends that have the hearts on there and something like that. I know personally I need to do a better job at that. I was in a space at one point where I was able to do that. I felt natural doing that. And maybe that was when I was working at Chick-fil-A. That was just the vibe, the spirit that I was in, right? I was, maybe compliment somebody's hair or something like that. But I think men need to hear that more from other men, and fathers need to hear that more from other fathers too. So that's extremely strong, man. I like that you said that.
You said something about Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, man.
All right, so I know we talked about this, and so we both from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, man.
Chick-fil-A, whatever they want, whatever they want to call it. There's a story from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, please give it.
There's a story from Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A, man. that was probably one of the greatest times in my life, man. I learned a lot.
Chick-fil-A was sweet.
Oh, I loved a lot, and I learned a lot while I was there. But give it to me. Let me hear
Them
it.
nuggets are good when you eating them in the back. I'm kidding. We don't do that.
No, they is. When they hot, you pop one in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember. We ain't gonna tell them we be doing that though. Yeah.
So me personally, I drink with 2 straws.
Mm.
Anybody that knows me, they know this story. So you about to hear it too.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I'm interested.
So I drink with 2 straws. All right. So you're familiar. Are y'all familiar with Bojangles? It's a restaurant, Bowtime Chicken. Right?
Sony, please tell me you know Bojangles, man.
Yeah.
I'm about to say he from Jersey. So
Yeah.
I don't like it though.
So listen, Bowtime, Bojangles is known for the chicken, but not for their service.
Come on,
right?
Come on.
Let's go back to college.
You hurt me
days.
with that statement too. We're gonna talk about it after the podcast.
Come on, man. Dirty rice, seasoned fries,
Come on,
2-piece
man.
dark, butter biscuit, and a sweet tea.
And me, man, I get a bacon egg and cheese.
See, I'm from Haiti, so dirty rice is
real dirty. Yeah, he's real dirty.
Yeah.
Getting the dirty rice. That's different. So yeah, I got you.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, I'm gonna back on up.
You got it.
So went to college, had a buddy. His name was Brent. We were in the caf. He was drinking with 2 straws. I asked him, I said, bro, why are you drinking with 2 straws? He said, Big Shot, don't knock it until you try it. So I was like, all right, bet. So I went up to the counter, I grabbed another straw, put it in my cup, and I began to sip, man. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have to rethink this relationship because you pretty corny, man. There ain't nothing good about these 2 straws. So it was like, whatever, man. I said, I didn't get anything from him. He said, man, I get more drink, I get all that. I'm like, all right, whatever. So the next day, I decided to drink with 2 straws. All right, a week later, I was drinking with 2 straws. 3 months later, I was drinking with 2 straws. A year later, just for some reason, I was drinking with 2 straws. So I pulled up. I was actually a trainer for Chick-fil-A when I was working at Chick-fil-A too as well. So I used to train on that drive-through play that we have now. So I used to go around and do that type of training for the area. And I was on my way, and I was like, I need to get some breakfast. But I wanted to go get that yellow box that had Bojangles.
Come on,
right?
Bojangles.
Yeah, I got to have it. So I went to go get the yellow box. Now, I'm expecting once I get to the window, they're going to give me my food. The service is not going to be that great, but I'm okay with that. So I pull up to the window, and the young lady says, hey, how are you? I'm like, oh, my God. I said, I'm good, because I love customer service.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm just shaking. I'm like, this is good. She was like, do you have everything you need? I said, did you put the 2 straws in there? She said, yeah, 2 straws are in the bag. I was like, perfect. So I'm getting down the road, 2-piece dark, dirty rice, seasoned fries, a butter biscuit.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then I bring out my sweet tea. So I grab the straw out the bag. I put it in the cup. I reach in the bag. What do you think was not in the bag?
I don't think you had no straw, brother.
I didn't have the straw. All right. Now, what I knew is, 1, I was thirsty. 2, I couldn't pull up the Chick-fil-A with this yellow box.
Yeah.
The yellow box had to go.
That's disrespectful.
All right. So I decided that day, I said, listen, man, I'm not going to drink this drink because I don't have 2 straws. Now, I continue to drink with 2 straws. When I leave here, we're going to go get something to eat, and I'm going to ask for 2 straws. And the reason I continue to drink with 2 straws is because it reminds me if I can be consistent with something so small, I can be consistent with anything in life.
Wow. Mic drop.
I'm going to let that marinate.
Mic drop.
Beautiful. That's exactly it.
But I ain't trying to buy no more mics. It's starting to sizzle.
That's
it's sizzling.
And the reason why it's hit me so much because you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
In everything, you have to start somewhere. And sometimes we get so focused on the end, we can't even start.
Can't even start.
Because you're like, how am I going to lose all this weight? How am I going to be the best father and I didn't have a father, right? How am I going to start making 6 figures and I haven't even gotten my college degree yet? You got to start somewhere.
That's cool. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great.
Come on.
That's why they miss it at. That's all you got to do.
I think I'm doing 2 straws now, Sonny. It's a few things in my life I need to start being a little bit more consistent on, and it might be 2 straws. And every time somebody asks why I drink with 2 straws, I'm gonna tell them to come watch this podcast.
Tell them to come watch
because you are dropping dimes right
Hey, we're gonna title this one 2 straws.
2 straws. People gonna be confused. I'm gonna put a picture of 2 chains on there too. There's gonna be 2 chains and 2 straws, not double cup, but 2 straws, man. That was good. That was good. Where would you? And I'm kind of pivoting a little bit. Because you've done sports and and you've been in a lot of different areas and different parts of your life and exposure. You talk about your uncles and stuff like that. When I speak to a lot of gentlemen or fathers in this space, and maybe they may have had a great relationship with their father, maybe some were absent, maybe some were there, or whatever you. There's always someone around in the environment that they've taken something from.
Right.
They've gotten some type of tool that they've put into their toolbox and they've taken it along the way. There's always going to be a father figure, and a father figure doesn't always have to be a father. Are there a few people maybe in your life that you attribute to getting some of the attributes that you have now, or maybe just helps you do some of the things that you do today, either in fatherhood or just in a normal space?
Oh man, listen, I don't want to start name dropping because we'll be here all day.
Got you.
I'm going to tell you like
Give
it
me a
is.
few,
You learn from a lot of people, but I'll speak about two people really quickly. So my grandfather, I don't remember this, but I guess I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And my grandfather at that time, he used to smoke cigarettes, right? And he used to always smoke cigarettes in the bathroom, close the door, smoke cigarettes in the bathroom. He'll go and sit in the bathroom, smoke a cigarette. So my mother said that I went in the restroom and I said to my grandfather, he'd been smoking all these years since he was like 13 years old, back in the day. And I said to him, grandfather, when I grow up, I want to be just like you and smoke. Cold turkey, that was his last time ever smoking.
Wow.
Once I heard that story, it gave me the perspective of what addiction actually is, right? And how you can drop something if you literally want to drop it, man. My grandfather has been there all my life. We used to stay with my grandparents a lot. There was another gentleman, man. His name is Tracy Lucas.
Oh, I love the name. That's one of those names you got to say the first and the last name. You'll never just be Tracy.
Tracy Lucas, man. We call him T2, man. And I really got to give him a shout out. I love him more than he loves me. There's nothing he can do about it, right? So I don't get the opportunity to see him that much, but he's done so much for me in my life. And he was with my mother for some time or whatever. And we still love him. Yeah. All right. So whatever they're going to do, I don't know. That's up to y'all. All right. But, all right. But just being around him and how he carried himself, I remember he used to drive a truck where he used to do barbecue and stuff. I would see him grab a hog. They call him Big Daddy. He used to grab a hog, throw it over one shoulder and the other shoulder. And I'm thinking like, I can't grab the hog, but I'm trying. I'm sitting out here walking like this, trying to get down the road, and just like how he played basketball, the game of basketball, how he played it, how he used to put the ball between his legs without dribbling and then just dish it off like magic, right? And then just the way he used to talk to people. He used to always rhyme. And I'm like, bro, how? And then another thing that he used to always do, I used to ask him this. He used to remember everybody's name. I'm like, how do you remember everybody's name? And then he was like, well, he finds something that's going to relate to their name, and that's how he remembers their name. So that's what I started doing. So when I go around, like for my company now, it's like, how did you remember my name? There's one thing that I'm in particular that I'm going to remember about you that's going to correlate your name to who you are.
Beautiful.
Or you might have a name tag on. So they
that could
be
there
in retail. I ain't mean to tell all my secrets. But majority of the time, it's something that correlates back. And Tracy, man, I don't want to go on a tangent about Tracy, but he just taught me so much as a young man and growing up, and just like his work ethic, like how he carried himself. Yeah. And when I tell you, he did all this while being the countryest joke I've ever seen my life. When I tell you country, I mean pig picking country.
Oh, I love it.
I mean out there in the barn getting a beer country.
Yes, sir.
I mean he was just country, and he reminded me that I could be cool. So a funny fact about me. So I've never smoked before. I've never tasted alcohol a day in my life. Wow. Right. Never tasted alcohol. And I'm 34 now. And he just reminded me, we would go to the barn, everybody be like, oh yeah, we're going to drink something and everything. He's like, Shaw, you ain't got to do that. And I'm like, but y'all doing it. All right. Yeah. But you ain't got to do it because that's not who you are. And he just kept reminding me to be my authentic self without actually telling me. Like you were talking about your dad leading by example. He literally did that for me, man. And I just think he's amazing. He's been instrumental in my life.
Bro, foundational teachings right there.
You best believe it.
And sometimes it takes so long for us to even put together that's what happened, right? When you're living in it, you don't even know what's going on. And then you take a time to slow your life down a little bit and you look back and you're like, it was this person that said this to me that one time. It was these 2 years that I was playing for this sport, and I remember this coach did this for me. It was the time that I was working at Chick-fil-A and I had this experience, and all those experiences come together to make us who we are. And sometimes naturally we want to take those experiences and try to find a way to force it into our kids and put it into a bottle and this streamline, and it's not naturally going to work like that. We just got to make sure that we're being that person so that when we're being present and around them, that they're still taking it, because they got to be their own person at the same time. And I love that you said make sure that they're being their most authentic self.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the most important. We're in a place where social media, you're just seeing so many different people, right? You might vibe with a different, maybe culture or something like that, but the way that you are in your home may look completely different than what you see on TV. And it can, not just on TV, maybe in the games, people you're talking to, or what you might see on social media, that you start thinking that you need to tweak little things. You need to be in that area. You need to wear these type of clothes, or maybe you need to start wearing makeup, change your hair. And it's not about being somebody else. It's about being okay and feeling cool and being authentic, because whoever you are, that's all you really can be. Anything else other than yourself is not you. And that's a dangerous place to be in.
That's good stuff, man. Can you just take that segment right there, just cut it out, replay it about 4 times so everybody can hear, and put it in slow motion. I want them to get this.
No,
I seen y'all put the words up there. I want the words to be under there. Put the caption, just in case they miss any piece of that.
Man, this is good. Sony, I'm about to slow this thing down for a second. I want him to speak to some of the new fathers, but before I do that, I wanted to see if you had any questions for him.
I mean, you guys are candidly just crushing this. So yeah, just keep on rolling.
Keep doing the thing. Keep doing the thing. But if anything, I kind of wanted you to give the closing remarks. And I have a lot of fathers, not only just single fathers. I got single mothers who watch this. I got Christian couples, military couples, people literally from all over the globe who are watching this right now. I want you to maybe speak to some of the fathers right now, or maybe some of the things that they can do to just step into their most authentic self, their great self, to step into excellence. What things could they do right now? Just maybe give them a couple words of encouragement.
Okay. So a couple of words I'll say first is what you accept today is most certainly what you expect tomorrow. All right. And I'm going to put this real simple, 2 words. Everybody says practice makes perfect, when practice actually makes permanent. How you practice will determine your permanent behaviors. Yes, right. So when you're going out here and you're trying to be the best father that you could possibly be, you have to understand that it's all about strategic rehearsal and what you're trying to get across. Have a goal in mind, set a deadline. All right. Make sure you stay consistent. All right. And make sure you stay persistent with recognizing yourself too. That's one thing that we miss. We're recognizing few people. I know we talked about recognition earlier. It's all about giving yourself the credit that you actually deserve. Yes, all right. As a father. And don't take it lightly that our babies see us as if we are the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes.
All right. Yes, even when we don't see ourselves that way. Yeah. I feel like sometimes I fall short, and then in falling short, I'm always reminded that from my babies, I'm always reminded that, Daddy, you're doing just as good as I need you to do.
Yes, sir.
When you think you need to do more, all you have to do is just show up. We have to simplify this process. We don't have to add on all these extra details. Show up, be consistent, and be persistent. And then you fry, dive, and lay to the side, man. This has been absolutely amazing.
Easy day. Guys, you heard it here first. Simplify it all. I'm closing this thing out. Thank you for being here. Here for the Dads. Out. Thank you for watching. You just listened to Here for the Dads podcast with Myer Krah. I am so grateful that you're here. But if you're new to this space, what I need you to do is slow down and subscribe, share, review, or rate. Whatever you can to help me out, because I'm on a journey to create a space for existing fathers and new fathers that's going to allow them to be a little bit more confident and a little bit more efficient at what they're doing. Thank you.